We're looking at the actual clinical reasons why your brain senses danger way before there's any hard proof. If you've ever felt like you can just read a room before anyone even opens their mouth, well, you're in exactly the right place.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever walked into a room and felt this sudden, heavy weight in your chest? Even though everyone around you was smiling and the conversation seemed perfectly normal. You know, you can't point to a single bad word that was actually said, but your gut is absolutely screaming at you that something is dangerously wrong. It's crazy relatable, right? Most people will tell you, oh, you're just being too sensitive, or you're overthinking it. But what is actually happening inside your body is a completely different story.
The reality here is that it's not just anxiety. It is advanced biology. What's happening to you is far more clinical than simply being overly sensitive. Your brain is essentially performing advanced pattern recognition completely beneath your conscious awareness. This isn't some fleeting feeling, it's a hardwired biological process where your nervous system detects emotional inconsistencies long before the person in front of you even finishes their sentence.
Section 1. Anatomy of a gut feeling. The science of thin slicing. To really understand why you sense danger so incredibly fast, we have to look at the psychological concept of thin slicing. This is your brain's biological ability to make lightning-fast judgments based on tiny, almost invisible cues that most people miss entirely. Literally, in just milliseconds, your nervous system is processing a massive amount of behavioral patterns.
The real game changer here is how you collect data. While the average person is just kind of listening to the words being spoken in a conversation, a highly aware person's brain is ruthlessly gathering environmental intel. You are unconsciously tracking microexpressions, sudden changes in breathing, and subtle vocal tension. Your brain is taking all these notes on pupil dilation and body positioning to signal a threat before your logical brain can even catch up to what's happening.
Just look at this incredible metric, 0.5 seconds. To put that into perspective, your brain is processing facial expressions in less than a fraction of a second. While everyone else might just see a friendly smile, your brain is busy zeroing in on a mere half-second delay in someone's reaction. And that tiny, barely there hesitation, that can be the exact biological data point your nervous system uses to predict a coming betrayal.
And the reason this works so well is because, honestly, the human body is just incredibly bad at lying. Even the most highly trained manipulators out there struggle to control microexpressions, those tiny, involuntary flashes that reveal the hidden truth. You might catch a little lip purse that signals hidden disagreement, even while the person is nodding yes right to your face. Or even more dangerously, a one-corner mouth raise. That is basically the universal red flag for contempt. When you get that weird off feeling, it's usually because your brain just detected these incongruent physical leaks. Basically, their words and their body just do not match up.
All right, Section 2. The origin and cost of hyperawareness. For a lot of people, this level of hyperawareness doesn't just happen overnight, it builds over a lifespan. It usually starts as a survival mechanism in emotionally unstable childhood environments. If you grew up around unpredictable anger, your young brain essentially morphed into a threat detection machine. It learned to read the subtle shift in a footstep or the exact way a door clicked shut, just to predict an emotional explosion before it ever even happened. And now, decades later in adulthood, your nervous system is still trapped running that exact same survival software, constantly scanning for emotional leakage in every meeting and every friendship.
But here's the dark side. Living like this is exhausting. Emotions spread through a room like a virus, and if you aren't careful, you're going to start absorbing the stress hormones of everyone around you. And that leads directly to compassion fatigue. It's that feeling of being totally physically drained and mentally foggy, because you've essentially turned your own nervous system into a battlefield for other people's chaos. Your brain never truly gets a break.
Now, take a deep breath here, because this is where everything changes. When you're constantly monitoring for rejection or conflict, you are trapped in a reactive, sympathetic state. That is pure fight-or-flight mode. To fix this, you've got to move into a strategic, ventral vagal state. This is that calm, connected part of your nervous system where you feel safe enough to just observe the data without letting it completely overwhelm you. You are making a massive shift from chaotic, reactive panic to calm, strategic observation.
Which brings us to Section 3, Reclaiming Your Nervous System.
I want you to consider this really profound reality. Explaining yourself is a form of seeking permission, which hands your power over to the person you're worried about. Having this super sharp perception does not mean you somehow have an obligation to fix, soothe, or save the people you're reading. When you sense danger, the first impulse is usually to explain your discomfort. But doing that, it only weakens your position.
So how do we actually apply this in the real world? First off, you have to stop being so readable yourself. Second, when you sense a danger pattern, you have to resist that urge to fill the awkward silence just to make things feel okay. Instead, try employing complete stillness. Just slow down. Refuse to react on command. And finally, by doing this, you actually break the other person's rhythm, which forces them to reveal even more of their true intentions.
The ultimate mindset shift is this right here. Treat intuition as data rather than a disaster. Your sensitivity is absolutely no longer a weakness once you learn to view it objectively. Setting boundaries isn't an act of cruelty. It's a fundamental act of survival. That gut feeling of yours is just clinical data, waiting for you to use it.
I really want you to internalize this exact phrase as a sort of daily anchor. I move with awareness. Use this to signal your nervous system that, hey, you are the one in control now. It is time to stop being an open book for people who simply haven't earned the right to read you. You are the one observing the choreography now. Which leaves us with this final, vital question. Are you going to keep waiting for proof to protect your peace, or will you start trusting the verdict your nervous system has already given you? You don't need to wait for a total disaster to validate your own biology. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this breakdown helpful, just know we are going much deeper into the neuroscience of influence next time, and you absolutely won't want to miss it. Stay sharp, stay aware, and I'll see you then.